Well, we are back again for another stream. What are we on now? We are on number 8, and I think we've definitely got a theme for this episode, because it seems as though everything is just imploding. You know, everything is just pretty much fucked. I mean, whether you're talking about Marvel or Star Wars, and even this week, we've of course got news on the Tomb Raider series. That already was fucked anyway, but that's just got even more fucked. So that seems to be the theme of this episode, is everything's done. We're so done. Just with everything. We've of course got the Star Wars stuff from last week, which was all to do with Dave Filoni getting more control. So I'm a bit late on that, but we'll go over that as well. Some stuff on the Marvel side, although we'll save that for now. We'll probably get into that first anyway, but I'd rather it be a bit of a reveal. I mean, it's not really much of a reveal. It's more of, oh yeah, I expected that. I expected them to, talk all this big game about, we're going to course correct, what the problem is, it's Kang. We just need to replace him. That'll fix things. That was at the point where you're like, oh, they don't know what the problem is. They don't know why films like the Marvels or any of the other ones are losing money. They don't actually know what it is. They just think it's down to, oh, the CGI. That's why people don't like our films. But no, it's of course the fundamental of it, and that's the writing. That's what is off-putting to most people, whether they know it or not. That's where the real problem lies. So they've made another decision in terms of how they write these films. They've made a decision like that where they already had a guy. He's worked on 2 projects already, and now they've given him not only one Avengers film, but 2 Avengers films. That's their big thing. It's the worst possible decision they could ever make. But we'll get into that soon enough. But yeah, other than that, I think that's most of the stuff we're going to talk about. Maybe I'm gonna try and record a video sort of as we go through these, because I honestly, every time I keep trying to make videos like for this channel, and every time it comes to it, I'm just like, right, I can't fucking do it. I think it's because it's been that long, since I've done a video, which is creeping up to about 2 months now. That you just start to lose your ability to do it. Whereas that's like the weird thing. It's like you lose your confidence for that, but yeah, I could do a live stream. Like I'm perfectly fine. So I may try and ease myself in by trying to record a video record videos as we go, at least one, mainly the Marvel one. So we'll try and do that. I don't know what's going on. It's just been that long. It's like, I can't do it. Every time I sit at the computer, I'm like, right, let's do this video. I end up just sitting there for a while trying to think about what to say. But yeah, it was kind of like that even when I was putting out, plenty of videos a week. If you end up having a week off, it takes a minute to get back into the groove of things. And I think it's just been that long. I'm completely thrown off any game that I did have. But hopefully we can get something out of this stream. I think that's probably worth doing. Now and again, throw out, a clip from this live stream. That may be worth I mean, most people aren't watching my fucking live streams anyway, so they'll never know. They'll never know that I just lazily went, right, let's just record a video now. But yeah, other than that, I've just been working away at the Marvels review for my new channel. I'm not far from being done now. I'm hoping to release it next Friday. Luckily enough, I've got next week off, so that gives me a week to do all the editing. But I'm hoping, well, tomorrow I'm probably going into the recording phase. I've just been doing a lot of, rewrites, redrafts, just, editing bits and pieces on the script, just to, try and get it right. I've almost got the intro done, which is going to be, fucking 40 seconds. And then it would just be straight into going through the film. And then I've just got to sort of write my, conclusion. So that's really all I've got left to do, and then it's recording it. And then it's the editing, which is the long part. Especially for me, because, if you haven't done it a whole bunch, it generally takes a fucking long time. So I'm hoping that will be out sometime next week. And then I can probably look at working on something else for that channel, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I mean, because we've really got nothing, upcoming other than the Echo series. That's like the next thing. And that's 6 episodes all released on the same day. So that's probably going to be the next one for the new channel that I've got. But yes, we will have to see on that. But I suppose we'll get into all the stuff we've got. I'm trying to, do we start with Marvel? I'm trying to figure out where we're best starting, because we have got some of that Wish stuff has been going on. But I think we'll dive into the Marvel stuff, because yet again, they've seriously fucked up. Right, I'm trying to think. Right, how do I go into this? But hold on. But yeah, oh, I fucked this. I was going to try and jump into a video. Now I fucked it. But yeah, it looks like Marvel have made another bad decision. They've decided to hire the guy that wrote one of the worst Marvel TV shows, and definitely the worst MCU movie, that of course being Loki and Multiverse of Madness. They've decided to now hire creator Michael Waldron to write Marvel's Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Because once again, they haven't been able to figure out what the problem is. All that stuff they talked a big game about. Oh, we're gonna course correct. We're gonna give the fans what they really want. Even within the first article we've seen, it's like, yeah, they didn't know what the problem was, and this pretty much concludes this, that yeah, they don't have a clue of what they're doing. They've just went, oh, we'll get Michael Waldron that made that fucking shit show Loki, and one of the worst scripts out there, Multiverse of Madness. That's the guy to get for the job to write the Avengers films, that at this point, based on all their other films flopping, is definitely going to flop, and is going to be the final nail in the coffin for them realizing, oh, that was what the problem was. Realizing that, oh yeah, we're done. We're dead at this point if people won't even come to the cinema to see an Avengers film. So that is the news we have. This is the guy. I mean, he looks brain dead, so I'm not really surprised by his scripts. But as they say, Michael Waldron has been tapped to write Marvel Studios' Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Waldron had already been set to write Avengers: Secret Wars, the installment that would follow Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and will now write both Avengers sequels. So not only did he already have an Avengers film there to do, he now has 2 to do. That means we're going to have 2 abominations of Avengers films. That's what that means. These films are going to be absolute trash, because Michael Waldron is not a good writer, nowhere near even decent. He's just terrible. He's just all around terrible. Again, it's the disease of the Rick and Morty writers, where he came into Loki, done that. That shat on everything that came before it, like Infinity Stones being used as paperweights, or the fact that everything that had happened in Marvel was all predetermined by Kang. None of it was of free will. None of the characters made the choices they did because that is who they were. It was because Kang said, oh, that's what these should do. And then he was given Multiverse of Madness. We've got clips of him saying, oh yeah, that I just didn't know what to do with the script then. And Multiverse of Madness is the worst MCU film. You cannot get through a single scene without there being at least 15 issues. That is the guy that they've now went, here, have 2 Avengers films. It's really not surprising considering they renewed his contract like recently. They renewed his contract, so he's going to be there for a long while, even after the Avengers films are well and truly fucked. They say Waldron has become one of Marvel's most trusted creative minds. Yeah, what did he come up with? In Multiverse of Madness, he came up with, we got a different universe. He came up with, oh, I know what's different. Pizza balls. Or, oh, you cross the road on a red light rather than a green light. This was the creative mind. Nothing creative about Waldron. He's creative in how he fucks up so much shit. That's the only way you can call him creative. Having previously created and served as showrunner on season 1 of Loki, as well as writing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And the move makes sense to the studio to have him pen both films. No, it doesn't make any sense. When your company is dying, when your entire franchise is losing interest of any audience whatsoever, that doesn't make sense to then get the shit writer that made shit projects. That makes no sense. But again, it just goes back to they don't know what the problem is. They don't know why their films are tanking. They just can't figure it out. Again, it's fundamentally the writing. That is what is broken. Just shit ideas, shit scripts, and they just, put it out like that. Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige will produce. Get him out of there as well. But Deadline recently broke that Destin Daniel Cretton would not be directing the film in order to focus on his other Marvel projects, like the TV series Wonder Man. Avengers Kang Dynasty is far on the theatrical release schedule, dated to kick off summer on May 1st, 2026, and nobody is going to give any shit whatsoever. Giving Waldron more than enough time to pen a script as the director search begins. The movie will precede Secret Wars on May 7th, 2027, which will wrap up the MCU's Phase 6 features. So that's the big news, the big decisions that Marvel is making. So, yet again, I find myself saying this course correction that people seem to believe is never going to come. It's never going to happen. They're never going to have a chance for that course correction when these are the decisions they make. They go, let's get Michael Waldron. When he's like proven to be really terrible at his job. How he became a writer, how he got into the industry, I just don't know. I'm just like lost for words. How people like this find themselves in the positions that they find themselves in. But there we are. Michael Waldron has been hired to write not only 1 but 2 Avengers films. It's really just it's a fucking disaster. It's just a disaster. That's really, it's just going to continue to go where it's been going recently. Just falling completely off. But yeah, some of these decisions they make is fucking hell. It's like I don't really get it. I think part of this is the fact that they stupidly renewed his contract, even though his track record is fucking terrible. Like Multiverse of Madness, it made money, but that was because of No Way Home. That was the only reason why. But it's just the quality of it is so terrible that it's like, no, this guy should not be rehired. But that's what happens when you have people like Kevin Feige in charge, who's absolutely fucking useless, has seemingly always been useless. I don't know, even under his control, I don't even know how things like Civil War even got made. It's like really strange. When you just look at, Phase 4 and 5, it's a complete disaster from start to finish. Again, it's just like Kevin Feige needs to get kicked the fuck out of there as well because he's shit. He's just shit. Or it is just he's not paying attention to anything. because he's decided to go the route of, let's just make as much shit as possible. Let's not actually take the time to make this one project, get that right, then we'll smoothly move on to the next project. It's just been, let's make 10 shows and 20 films in 3 years. That's the good ideas that he has. That's honestly, that is a big part of it. Why everything is just so fucked. But yeah, I'm not really shocked by this news. Just, again, you go back to the Insider Variety article. It was like obvious they didn't know what the problem was. They were like, well, it will fix things if we bring Doctor Doom in. It's like, no, because it's still be written shit, so that doesn't change anything. Or, they go the route of, oh, well, maybe we'll bring Tony Stark back. It's like, that's not going to matter either, because it's going to be written shit. So all the things that they think the problem is, it all comes down to the writing anyway. But they just can't go, oh, it's the writing. I really don't know why they don't just hire people that know what they're fucking doing to go, right, I'm going to take Michael Waldron's script, I'm going to go over it, every detail, see if this fucking thing makes any sense. I don't know why they don't just do that. It would like fix your problems instantly. But they're just like, there you go, Michael Waldron. We don't need to look at it. Just fucking make the thing, and we'll just assume it all worked out. They're honestly like fucking Dr. Evil flipped on the other side. Where it's just like, oh, we just assume it all worked out. So that is not very good in that sense for Marvel. Just completely fucked. Ran by a bunch of idiots. That's where it is at the moment. The other Marvels thing we did have, because you've had the actress that played Ms. Marvel in Ms. Marvel and in The Marvels. Not a very good character. I like the actress. She's got charisma. That is about all. But even with, just one of your, just this teenage girl, she even seems to be able to know what the fucking problem is. Whereas, your Marvel executives, like Kevin Feige, or president rather, like your Kevin Feige's, don't have a clue. As it says here, she believes Marvel Studios needs to make the audience care about their characters. We've had 3 years. 3 years, most of which have introduced new characters. What character can you even remember? None of them. Because they're all shit. Just, there's been no characters that have been introduced that have went, oh, I care about this character. It's like, it's all just, nah, it's not. There's just nothing to them. They've got no ability to write consistent characters. So it's like, but even that, it's like, right, well, you're pointing out something that is wrong. Like, even Marvel can't figure that out, that, oh, the audience don't care about our characters because they're not well written. They're not well developed. They're just boring planks of wood. But we'll see what she actually said. So she says, I don't know if it's about just getting bigger and bigger. Again, it's like we've talked about that. I would assume she seems to think like the stakes, the stakes need to get, it's like, no, that's been the problem. That's been the problem every time, where every single film or TV show, everything that, like, just like the multiverse is at stake, the universe is at stake, the earth is at stake. There's nothing like, oh, my little corner of the city in New York is at stake. There's been nothing like that. It's all just, well, we need to get it needs to be bigger and bigger and bigger every time, rather than go, right, let's have a breather, bring the stakes down a bit, and then we'll slightly ramp them up as we go throughout the phases, and wrap it all up at the end. That they just thought, now it needs to be multiverses. That's what the stakes need to be. So yeah, she says, I think it's just about making the audience care about their characters. I find it funny she says that, because nobody cares about a character. And I think they've established so many wonderful characters. No, they haven't. They haven't. It's like, I don't know how you can... It's like, because I've seen people saying, oh, look, she knows what she's talking about. And I'm like, not really. Not necessarily. Like, she maybe, get audience to... Yeah. but then you're then going to follow up with, there's been wonderful characters introduced in the last phase of the MCU. There isn't. Who? Cassie Lang? Bitch. I can't even remember most of them off the top of my head. I'd have to Google it, because there's just none of them that have made any impact. Just nothing. The only film within Phase 4 and 5 that actually had characters in it, that were, actual characters, was No Way Home, which, again, Sony movie. But that was the only film where it's like they're doing character work. Whereas everything else is just we're not even going to bother. We're just going to have someone say, I like this one. And that's like all the effort that goes into it. But let's see what else she says, because, she's like a big fan of the comics, which I'm surprised why the fuck you would like the MCU if you were. Especially at this point. But she says, I'm speaking as a fan. I'm still there every Thursday night. All the Thursday night openings of these movies, they're just like a source of happiness for me. And the commercial success honestly doesn't determine the enjoyment of a film. Well, that's obvious. I don't think the commercial success would ever determine the enjoyment, because there's been, The Thing. It's like that's now considered one of the greats. When it came out, it didn't make money. Nobody was interested. It wasn't until years later. So it's like, yeah, that's very obvious. I don't think anybody lets a commercial success or unsuccessful let that sort of determine what their enjoyment is. So that's pretty obvious. I judge a movie by the feeling it left me with. I mean, yeah, you can do that, although that just means you don't have any standards. But that's really up to the person. I mean, some people are more interested and go, "Oh, I enjoyed that," and that's as far as they take it. I prefer to actually, dig into it. Go, is this good or is it bad? In the most objective sense that I can. But that's, you've got some people like that that just go, I'm not going to think about it. Why would I think about it? And I do want to leave a movie feeling a little tighter, a little lighter, and a little happier, and I hope the audience does too. I just want it to be good. That's where I am. I don't care if it leaves you a little lighter or a little happier. It depends on how good it is, how well executed it is. That's really where the issue is. I'm not interested in this. Oh, it has to be lovey-dovey at the end. It has to be silly. They need to go a bit more serious with it, but they're not willing to. It's like Quantumania was like a perfect example, where it's like, what you should have done there in Quantumania, at the end of the film, you should have had Kang kill Ant-Man. That's what should have happened. So people go, oh, this guy's a threat. Instead, you had Ant-Man beat him, and we're now like, oh, he's shit then. That villain is shit then. So they probably should have done that in Ant-Man, in Quantumania. Was actually have him kill someone off. But they just did not have the balls for it. But, again, it's just like, a lot, still people don't fucking get it. They just don't get it. It's like the only thing, it's like, yeah, she said the audience care about you want the audience to care about the characters, but you then think that's what's been happening, when it's non-existent. Nobody, I mean, take the Marvels. Nobody cares about Monica Rambeau. Nobody cares about Ms. Marvel. Nobody cares about Captain Marvel. Nobody cares about Nick Fury, because you fucking destroyed him in Secret Invasion. It's like, that's a perfect example. So many characters in that film, big team up, and couldn't give a shit less about them. Because you don't do nothing with them. Monica Rambeau is a wet fart. Captain Marvel is a genocidal maniac. Ms. Marvel, she's just there for shits and giggles. Other than that, there's nothing. There's no weight behind them. There's just nothing to them whatsoever. And that's up there again. But again, it just comes down to the writing. The quality of the writing is just fucking terrible. But I think that's the majority of the Marvel stuff. Although I think this kind of leads in from the Marvels, because we've had stuff come out about the Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Amazon went and hired her because she's great. She's like really good. I mean, everything she's in, everything she writes, is just so good. I definitely don't feel like, oh, this is just utter shite. So they hired her for the Tomb Raider series, and it seems like Amazon have made the wrong decision, just like Disney does all the time. They have tapped the Marvels and WandaVision screenwriter to help pen Phoebe Waller-Bridge's live-action Tomb Raider series. So that's fucked. I already expected that to be fucked anyway. But then you're gonna go and hire someone that wrote the Marvels, that utter dog shit, that is just got nothing, just completely dead inside. You're gonna go and get that person. You know, again, it just seems to be another example of failing upwards. Just seems like with some people in Hollywood, no matter how much they fuck up, it's like, oh, we're going to give them something else. We're going to give them the Tomb Raider series. And it's like, nobody was on board with that in the first place because it had Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was attached to it. So straight away, that it's like, oh, we probably know what we're going to get then. I think even some of the things that have been said around this film, series, even some of the the stuff that has been said, it's like, oh, this doesn't sound like it's gonna be gonna go over well. You know, with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, it's like, oh well, she's probably gonna go the sort of feminist way with it. Most likely, that's probably how it's gonna go over. You're not just gonna get Tomb Raider. You know, Lara Croft just goes in and fucking raids a tomb. It's going to be all the other shit. It's basically going to be like Barbie with Tomb Raider. So I don't really see this working out well. But they say, in a move that doesn't bode well for the storytelling quality of Lara Croft's next live-action adventure, Amazon has reportedly enlisted the services of Marvel Studios screenwriter Megan McDonnell to help pen their upcoming Tomb Raider television series. McDonnell's addition to the Tomb Raider production team was first revealed on November 22nd when she had a shit film come out, and then she got hired for something else. Nobody went, oh, that was bad, wasn't it? Maybe you're not the person we want on the team, because the way that turned out. You know, again, it always comes across like in Hollywood, there's just this bubble that none of them seem to go, like, look at someone else's work and go, fuck me, that's shit, isn't it? There's just no attention paid to it. So that's why they seem to just hire people based on nothing, just based on, oh, that's my friend. You know, that seems to be the way it works now. Is they just go, oh, I got a friend, she wrote some shit films, we'll bring her on. But that was revealed on November 22nd, courtesy of her placing 8th overall in the 2023's edition of Variety's annual 10 Screenwriters to Watch list. We're going to have a look at that, I think. We're going to have a look at that later. Because I would be interested in knowing. You know, 10 Screenwriters to Watch list. She made the Marvels. Nothing to watch there, is there? You know, unless you want to laugh. Making the ranks thanks to her aforementioned Marvel work, which includes having served as a story editor on WandaVision, which she informed the outlet had been her first professional writing job. Alright, that's good. Yeah, so all she's done is WandaVision and the Marvels. That's it. That's all she's done. Both projects terrible. And given another project. The initial writer hired for the Marvels and a consulting producer she done Agatha Darkhold Diaries as well. Which I think they did release a first look for that. It's just pictures of Agatha. McDonnell's entry on the list eventually concluded with a preview of her upcoming projects. Therein, the outlet revealed McDonnell has been busy writing for Dark Matter, based on Blake Crouch's 2016 novel, and Amazon's Tomb Raider. Though she did not provide any specific insight into her work, because she probably couldn't, on the video game adaptation McDonald did provide Variety with a brief overview of her general approach to storytelling. I love to do something unusual with form. I aim to surprise. I wasn't surprised with the Marvels. I expected it to be shit. And what do you know, it was shit. And I try to watch things that I want to... and I try to write things that I want to watch. Right, so... yeah, you're probably not the best person for the job then. Because it's like, clearly what you like then is shit. If you go, oh, I want to try and write things that I want to watch. It's like, you want to watch the Marvels. You want to watch, WandaVision. So, yeah, none of that's fucking interesting whatsoever. That just seems to be a lot of the attitude from some of these writers. I just want to write what makes me happy. Which is fine, but you do have to consider, I'm trying to get an audience as well. So that is something to mull over and go, right, so, I want to watch this, what do other... you want to go for... You don't just want to specifically make it for yourself. Because that's not how it works. You also need to make money. Most of my stories start with whatever funk or crisis or feeling I'm living in. So, the key word, I'm. Like they seem to only know... we've spoken about this problem as well. It's like, you can talk about, like, Tolkien. It's like the reason some of these writers are so fucking good, or, be able to add, is because they've lived a life. Whereas, like, someone that has just lived in Hollywood their entire lives don't have much life experience. So, some type of crisis or feeling that they're living, it's like, you ain't really got nothing there. Like, nothing, because you haven't lived. So that's really what it comes down to there. But it's like why would you, again? It's just, but you're not writing. Why are you writing about yourself? Like, it's fucking strange. Again, it's one of those things. It's like, it depends how it turns out. But it's just, again, it's just a sort of weird attitude to have. Then I figure out how to explore that through speculative fiction. As of writing, information regarding Amazon's live-action take on the popular video game series, including plot casting, release date, remains scarce. I mean, it's already... We already know that, really, don't we? It's very predictable when you have Phoebe Waller-Bridge in charge. It's like, oh, it's going to be Lara Croft. She's going to be a plank of wood. She's not going to have anything interesting about her. She's going to be no vulnerability. She's just going to be great at everything. It's going to be boring. Just really boring to watch. That's probably what it is. There's not going to be anything interesting about it. So already it's like, yeah, I know what this is going to be. It's going to be pretty bad. On top of that, you're also going to get preached at. So that's the decisions. Again, it's like, as I said at the start, it's just this episode seems to have a theme that everything is just completely fucked. That seems to... But I am interested in looking at this, these top 10 screenwriters to... Well, we'll have to go up a bit, it seems. Yeah, Variety's 10 screenwriters to watch for 2023 includes scribes for The Marvels, Rustin, and The Color Purple. I've heard of that. I don't know what it is, though. Rustin, I don't know what that is. But I am quite interested to see who they've got on this list. At least, like, what they've done. So you got these two. What have they done? They've done something called Dumb Money. Never heard of it. They have written no fewer than 6 scripts. Right, yeah. So it doesn't seem to be listed much. It mentions something here. Among their projects in the pipeline are a biopic of pioneering Hollywood agent Sue Mengers, starring Jennifer Lawrence, a TV series for Netflix with Adam McKay, which I believe is one of the guys, one of the writers for The Rings of Power. A reimagination of Murder, She Wrote, an adaptation of Michael Lewis' pandemic story, The Premonition. Okay, so just not really much there. You got Julian, Brees, Rustin. None of these people I've fucking heard of. Let me see. Yeah, because this mentions... Yeah, just Rustin. That seems to be all it is. Let me see. Nah, they don't seem to really be listening. You got The Color of Purple. Again, I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is. I'm just trying to see if there's any ones that actually stand out where I'm like, fuck me. These are the people we're supposed to watch. But yeah, so far I've heard of none of these people. I didn't plan on joining the right, I'm trying to... Gilroy didn't plan on joining. I assume this is, someone... Tony Gilroy. Yeah, it's got to be, because I think his brother's Dan, I think. So that must be something to do with Tony Gilroy. But I don't know why it says Michael Clayton. Unless that's something... Yeah, it must be Tony Gilroy. Maybe she might fucking know a few things then, because he's actually good at what he does. How's it going, Biffa? I don't know how long that... I only just noticed the chat there. Right, so... Yeah, I don't really know what she's done. Project Artemis. I haven't heard of that. Red Sonja. I've heard some bad things about that. I think if I actually go to... let me see. I did see it somewhere. It is down here. So, yeah, this is... Because apparently, they were going to do the usual race swap stuff. And then they changed it. And then now this stuff has come out about the film featuring stories of great female friendship. Explore how women uniquely survive out in the world. Again, this is just another way they completely fuck up. It's like, well, the majority of people that are in the Red Sonja, I'm not into it, but it's mainly men. So it's like, maybe you want to have it in a way where more than just women relate to it. Maybe that's the key to success. So that's what we've got on there. But she's apparently top 10 screenwriter to watch. Red Sonja, Naruto, and I think because I think Netflix are doing an animated version of Tomb Raider. So it seems to be doing stuff like that. Yes. So this is actually where I seen one of the comments about the. Well, no, I assume no. This is the animated show. That's right. Yeah, where she said Lara Croft doesn't just go to a new temple each week, but goes through a character-driven emotional story, and that excited me the most. Which is fine, but it's like, well, it is Tomb Raider, so maybe she should go to temples. But yeah, loads of these people I've just never heard of. Yeah, no, nothing really. I don't recognize any of them. I've heard that The Bear's good, which I think that's the... I know I think it's on Disney Plus or something like that. I've heard that's meant to be really good, like it's the chef, something like that. But I don't think it's something I'm gonna watch. I haven't really got as much interest in it. And then yeah, this is the one where it's like, oh shit. WandaVision, The Marvels, now Tomb Raider. Yeah, that's not very good. I've been considering watching Wish, just like in case I want to do a breakdown on it, because yeah, some of the stuff I heard about it. What do they do at the end? They try and connect it to the other films. They try and connect it to all the animated films, and I'm like, yeah, but you're doing that with fucking Marvel. They're doing that with everything. We're gonna have what is it, like the guy becomes the mirror, or something like that. But that's what they try to do. So I haven't really had the time at the minute, but I've been considering watching it and doing a stream about it. But yeah, I would like. Well, mainly I was interested, like because I've been watching all the like I've been rewatching some and watching some of the ones I haven't seen, and I would like to look at right. Let's look at what Disney have now, and try and sort of compare them. Like try and look at right. So they went from this to fucking this. But like even what the message is, it sounds like you could have went with some. You could have went with like hard work. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. But yeah, those are apparently the top 10 screenwriters to watch. But yeah, I have been considering watching it. Yeah, I heard there's like loads and loads of fucking musical numbers. Like just randomly you'll get a musical, part. But yeah, we were going to talk a little bit about this, about Wish, because there's been a few things come out about it underperforming, just flopping basically. But yeah, I would be interested just to see what are their animated films like now, because I haven't seen like all the Turning Red and the other ones, so I would be interested in knowing. But it's like basically it's to do with wishes. They want to get their wishes back, which just means I just get things just by saying I wish I had this. Where it's like there's an obvious route to go with that. If all the wishes, the lesson to learn out of that is things should take hard work. That's probably the route I would go, not just go, oh, you wish it and you just get it. But that sounds like where they went with it. But yeah, there was an article I was going to go over to do with this because it's not fucking looking good at all. We will have a look over this one. Yeah, because it was about the fact that Disney won't have a $1 billion movie in 2023, ending a long trend. What $1 billion film did they have last year? That's what Wish is about. I might watch a bit of it later on or something like that because I've been considering doing a stream on it. After Wish's underwhelming opening this past weekend, the spotlight is on Disney once again, and the rough year this once incredibly reliable brand has had. To specify, as Variety pointed out in a recent analysis of this troubling box office streak, Disney looked primed to end 2023 without a single movie crossing the $1 billion mark. And what was the last $1 billion film they had? I can't think of what it was last year. It can't be No Way Home because that was Sony. So I don't know. Oh yeah, Avatar. That's Avatar. Which I still haven't watched Avatar 2. I haven't got any interest in Avatar. Generally, see if I hear something along the lines of it's very thin on any story or characters, I'm just instantly put off. I'm like, but I'd rather watch something that actually, gives me something in return for 3 hours. So that's why I've seen the first one. I was never really interested in it. To be clear, that 1 billion mark is not an easy one to cross. Only 2 movies, Barbie and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, have done it yet this year, but that used to nearly be a given for Disney. We're not going to count 2020 and 2021. They're going to blame that on, the lockdowns did it. When No Way Home came out within that time period. So they're not even counting the past couple of years. I assume, it was 2022 last year. So I don't know. Oh no, you just fucking told me. I don't know why. It was Avatar last year. They're not going to count the 2 years before, even though, what was not... No Way Home seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it must be 2 years ago now. So yeah, they haven't been able to do it at all. Captain Marvel, we know why that made money. Avengers Endgame, the live action Aladdin, Lion King. There's no chance of them doing that anymore, even with their live action adaptations hitting $1 billion. We've seen it with, what do you call it? with The Little Mermaid. I think that's all that's been out recently. But I think Snow White that's really gonna flop. So yeah, they've not been doing too well on that. But I am interested in looking. I'm interested in looking at what the actual numbers are for Wish, because I haven't really paid much attention to it, to be honest. Wish, here it is here. What was its budget? I'll have a look at its budget. Right, so at the moment, 48 million. How long's it been out? So it's been out weekend, November 21st. It should give us the 200 million. Fucking hell. I just how do you 200 how do you spend 200 million on an animated film? So 200 million, they've only made 48. Yeah, we'll have to go back to the box office. So just domestically 31 million. So that's probably not gonna go too well. I heard the animation wasn't that great either. But I don't know how you spend 200 million on that. You would think it would be cheaper. They just I honestly sometimes I don't know what they spend the money on. Especially unless Chris Pine took a big paycheck, which I would probably say for him, he's probably medium to sort of get him. So even that, I'm like, so what else would they have spent the money on? The catering? That seems more likely. So, yeah, that's probably going to flop as well then. I've seen there's been a lot of cope going on over it. You had the Hollywood Handle put this out that Wish underperforms. And this guy is like, to all so-called animation fans. I'll zoom in a bit. To all so-called animation fans, what the heck is wrong with you? You just ruined a famous studio's 100th anniversary and only point and laugh like arrogant jerks. Have you no shame at all? And I think I did quote tweet it. I'm just like, it's a multi-billion-dollar fucking corporation, and you're like, you ruined their 100th anniversary. I mean, how much can you suck corporate cock? So that's you see a lot of that now. You have people like quote tweeting these things that then go, "Oh, you didn't go to see it. You're a bad person." It's like, what? But yeah, like even end have you no shame at all? What? Because I didn't want to go and see some Disney movie. There was another one as well. This one here. So what do people want from Disney? Every single movie seems to be struggling at the box office, even if it is a high quality. Nothing they've been putting out is high quality. I can already assume that Wish is not high quality because Disney are not known for high quality anymore. That time has long passed. So I don't know where she's, where her head is. Fucking up her ass, most likely. Is it because of Disney Plus, or does the right wing, political aisle just hate Disney now? I would just say just most people don't like Disney anymore. Whether it's to do with political things. I imagine there's more people that don't watch it because it's shit. That's probably where a lot of it comes from. Just none of it's any good. I mean, Disney have just been on the decline for so long. But that's, again, it's just like, it's right-wing political aisle. I'm not right-wing. Nothing they put out is fucking good. I can't remember the last thing I went to see from Disney. It's got to have been Infinity War. That was probably the last Disney film I went to see at the cinema. Because I'm not paying money to be disappointed. So you've had tweets like that, but yeah, it's just... it's funny. There seems to be you always get these people just coping over these films failing, and it's like it's because they seem to just be under the belief, oh, it's high quality. It's high quality, so why could you possibly hate it? Or maybe it's just I'm not very good. Well, I mean, look at this person's bio. I just noticed it. Actor and Disney addict, Aussie Disney girl on YouTube. So that's probably why. She's one of the, what do you call them? I forget what they call them now. I would call them Disnoids, but there's a specific name for them. I'm honestly forget, but yeah, there's like a specific name for these types of people. You know, they're just like into everything that's Disney. We'll go with Disnoids for now because I'm not actually sure. But I know they're, is it Disney adults? Something like that. Just like a group of them that fucking go on like children. Just, you know, they buy all the merchandise. They go to the theme parks all the time. They go to the cinema multiple times for, you know, for a Disney film. Just anything that's Disney, it's like they're all over it. So yeah, it's not really surprising some of them are like this. But I found this tweet just so funny. It's like, you just ruined, you ruined it. You just ruined a famous. It's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like they're worth billions. Why would I care that, oh, they lost money on a film? But yeah, it's been funny. I mean, a lot of that's, you've been getting a lot of tweets like that for the Marvels, where people have been, you're sick and disgusting for not going to see the Marvels. It's like, what? In fact, I'm pretty sure if we go into the comments, like, because you've got people, of course, pointing out the, you know, the correct things, that I would say they ruined their own 100th anniversary. You can't turn your back on your fans, insult them, then expect them to show up for you. To only be told, you're making that up. When have they ever done that? I mean, you know, if you paid attention, you got some guy that just says, good. This guy, you're disgusting. I'm just baffled that someone has this mindset. Because it was trash. You know, what do you know? You never bothered to see it. What moral obligation do I have to enjoy a product exactly? He says, supporting the crew and cast who worked on it for one thing. It's like, I don't care. I really don't. It's like, don't work for Hollywood. Don't work for Disney then. But yeah, a lot of those tweets have just been fucking insane. But what else did we actually? I think that was where we did have fucking this, but which you know, it's probably worth talking about somewhat quickly because we'll be finishing up a little early. Yeah. If I was you, I'd refuse to watch fucking the Marvels as well. It is fucking terrible. But yeah, this was like something that came out last week that, you know, again, the theme of this episode is just everything's fucked. We've of course got Star Wars in that same area. You know, it's already in that area, but it just got worse because now they've gave Dave Filoni more control than he already had. So now he gets a say over every Star Wars project. That's another really dumb decision that they've made. So it's just all of these, just anything Disney, they just make the wrong fucking decisions. It's like Dave Filoni's one of the main problems. You know, aside from Kathleen Kennedy, which, you know, how much say does she really have when someone's making something? You know, I don't really know. But a lot of people try and say that, oh, the reason why Ahsoka was shit was Kathleen Kennedy. It's like, no, I think it was Dave Filoni. I think when it comes to The Mandalorian, it's like, yeah, that was Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. You know, I don't really think Kathleen Kennedy is getting in on the scripts. So, but that's, you know, some people seem to really fucking love Dave Filoni, and I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But yeah, this was a Vanity Fair article that came out last week. Another thing that I tried to do a video on and failed at. But they say Dave Filoni has a new mission in the Star Wars universe after guiding Rosario Dawson's force-wielding hero to distant celestial realms in the first season of Ahsoka. You know, because, you know, when you've got an entire galaxy to explore and none of it has been explored, you go to another galaxy. You know, that's the right time to do that. You don't go, right, let's explore the galaxy that we're in a bit more. You know, rather than, no, we're going to limit it to Tatooine and, like, you know, planets like that. We're not actually going to try and, you know, go into different places with different types of stories. It's all going to be set in the same place, even though we've got a galaxy to play with. It's that I don't know how you can, you know, go, oh, we're going to make stuff about another galaxy. It's all right. We haven't explored this one yet. And they do mention that as well in this article, you know, somewhere, if we can find it. The writer, producer, director who started out working alongside George Lucas seems to be the only reason that people like him. Oh, he worked with George Lucas once. Therefore, he has George Lucas's approval, you know, for everything that he does. On the animated Clone Wars show, nearly 2 decades ago, has ascended to a new position at Lucasfilm, one that will give him input into all the galactic storytelling going forward. So that basically means he could just say, don't do that. He wants people to go to him for advice. He's like the last person you'd go to. So he says, now I'm what's called Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm, which places him into the development process much earlier and in a much more expansive capacity than his previous advisory duties. In the past, in a lot of projects I would be brought into, I would see it after it already developed a good ways. Because, you know, again, why would anyone want his opinion? I mean, I was just kind of thinking of that thing out of Family Guy. You know, you have someone like Tony Gilroy, and, you know, you got Dave Filoni trying to tell him things. You know, I just think of that clip. You know, when Peter finds out he's retarded, and the doctor, you know, Peter corrects him on something. The doctor says, "The day I'm corrected by a retard." That must be what that would probably what it would be like. Because it's like nobody needs Dave Filoni's help. You know, if anything, he's just going to make it worse. Filoni will now work more directly with Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, and alongside Carrie Beck, a veteran producer turned head of development, to originate and shepherd the next generation of Star Wars shows and movies. So it seems like we're never going to get an end of the TV shows. I mean, the movies are still a different thing, because it's like you never know what's going to get made. Really, you know, they announce things all the time. The amount of projects they've cancelled after they've announced them. So, like, when it comes to movies, you really have to take it with a grain of salt. The only, well, I mean, the Dave Filoni film, that's definitely going to happen now because he's got more control. The you know, Rey movie, that's definitely happening. In this article, they try and say that the, you know, the film that they're supposed to be doing the origin of the Force and the Jedi, which again, it's like, don't do that. Don't. It's not going to make sense. You're then gonna make the OT look even worse by that addition. So that seems to be happening. At least they say in this article. After spending many years involved in the creation of Star Wars animation, including the Rebels series, he became increasingly involved in live action as a producer, with Jon Favreau on The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett. So the people that made those, give them more control. In this new role, it's opened up to basically everything that's going on. When we're planning the future of what we're doing now, I'm involved at the inception phase. Which again, I'm just like, you know, it doesn't really matter with something like The Acolyte. It's like, yeah, that's, you know, yeah, you can go and, because that's going to be terrible anyway. But, you know, I kind of shiver at the thought, he could, you know, get his hand into Andor, which I think, luckily enough, I think season 2 is like pretty much filmed. So that I'm kind of lucky there. I'm kind of glad with that. But it's just like, if you're gonna have this guy's hand in everything, it's like, nah, just don't. Just, you know, I'd get rid of him. That's really the only move that, you know, would hold any weight, is just getting rid of everybody. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, and all the other minions. Just get rid of them all. This news comes a little over a month after the conclusion of Ahsoka. This probably means we're getting Ahsoka Season 2 now. an 8-episode Disney Plus series that explored how Dawson's Jedi grappled with her legacy of being trained by Anakin Skywalker. Oh, what, you mean all that stuff that wasn't in the show? Ahsoka was about nothing. That was what the entire show was. It was about nothing. 8 episodes of nothing. They tried to make it look like, oh, well, Ahsoka's dealing with, is she going to be evil or not? It's like, yeah, but you don't do anything for that. You randomly throw something like that I could guess you could take out of episode 5, the one with all the nostalgia bait. But there was no setup to it, so it's meaningless. They didn't set up the show in that way. They didn't have the first episode. We see Ahsoka in that sort of mindset. That, maybe this is, you can do stuff like that. Due to the long-running Hollywood strikes, neither Filoni nor Dawson were able to speak about the show when it debuted. In a Vanity Fair exclusive, both of them are now free to discuss the changes the show brought to the broader Star Wars narrative, both on-screen and behind the scenes. So you have a lot of... but I think this is the Sabine actress saying, you just learn a lot from Dave in general, I think. I know that he's traditional in the sense of how he learned so much from George. No, I wouldn't call him traditional. He has these pillars of storytelling that are dear to him, and then everything else can be untraditional. Pillars of story... Dave Filoni doesn't understand storytelling. I'm just going to say that. He doesn't understand it at all. So that's like another decision they decided to make, was to give Dave Filoni more power. They just, again, it's just every time it amazes me the incompetence of these billion-dollar companies. Although Lucasfilm, not really anymore. So that's another way they've wanted to go. A way they've went. But not surprised. It's like, even if they got someone half decent, it wouldn't really make a difference. It's still just going to be the same old thing. But that kind of gets us, into all the stuff I wanted to talk about. I'm sort of running out. I've got like a bit of a cold. So I'm like fucking running out of breath really quick. And just, after an hour, my fucking head's... I'm starting to get a headache now. Probably staring at bright fucking... staring at these fucking bright articles. I've got a bit of a sweat on as well, so that's no good. But yeah, so we've kind of covered most things that I wanted to go over. Alright, I think the worst of all is Michael Waldron getting 2 Avengers films. That's probably the worst decision they could possibly make. And just, some of the stuff with like Tomb Raider, it's like, I didn't expect anything out of that anyway. Star Wars stuff, it's like, as expected. But none of it's going too well, so it's just fucked. It's all pretty much fucked. But we're probably going to finish off there anyway. So I'm not sure what else I've got coming up. I did try to record a video while we were streaming. But I don't think I was good enough in it, so can't put that out now. But I'm still trying every day to fucking get a video out, but it's trying to get back into it when it's been so long. Other than that, I'm just working away on the Marvels, my review for that's going to be over on my new channel. I'm hoping that's out next Friday. I've pretty much just got to record it now, and then it's just a matter of editing. So I'm gonna have to spend time in the editing dungeon to try and get that out next week. Other than that, I might cover that Wish. I might do a stream on that. If I try and find the time, maybe I'll watch some of it tonight. I mean, it's only an hour and a half anyway, so it shouldn't take that long. Maybe we can do some comparisons with it. Other than that, I don't think I've got anything else to say. In fact, I was going to talk about that Napoleon, but I should have remembered I wanted to talk about that. Because I'm still looking forward to Napoleon. I've heard people, I've heard it, you know, kind of mixed. It's a bit mixed, the reactions to it. I'm more interested in, I'm more interested in the director's cut, because from what I've heard about the theatrical version, it seems like there's some things missing, which is actually funny because I watched Kingdom of Heaven last night, the director's cut. And from what I've heard, because I haven't seen it before, I heard, you know, don't watch the theatrical cut because the theatrical cut is shit, whereas the director's cut is somehow great. So I'm hoping, you know, maybe the people that are sort of negative on it, I'm hoping that's the case. You know, maybe the theatrical version wasn't as good, whereas the director's cut, maybe that's going to add certain context to things. That's my hope. You know, I'm not really, because I'm not really as, I've seen a lot of concern about, you know, historical accuracy, which, you know, again, I'm not really bothered about when it comes to, you know, a film where it's like, yeah, you can play with things to make some sort of story out of it, as long as you know, as long as you're upfront about that. I don't really have a problem with it, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I won't be seeing it till it is on streaming. But I'll probably end up just waiting for the director's cut. I'll just watch that. Well, I think that's how it's been released on Apple, is they are releasing the director's cut rather than the theatrical cut. I don't know. So yeah, maybe that changes it a bit. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I'm hoping it's not fucking terrible, because I am interested. But yeah, I've heard you know, I've heard people like it and people dislike it. So I'll maybe have to give it a look-see when it comes out, but we'll have to see. But yeah, we might as well finish off there. I've pretty much just got to go back to working away on this Marvels video. Maybe I'll try and record a video again. I'll do a third attempt. Just whenever it comes to trying to record a video, either I'm distracted, or there's some twat knocking on the fucking door. It's either like things like that, and then I just end up not doing it. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll finish off there. We'll be back at some point next week. We may do a stream on Wish over the weekend, maybe. I don't know. We will have to see. But I will finish off there. And I will see you on the next one.